Final Fantasy 15 as a complete thing. We both beat it.
Yeah.
And we have various feelings about it.
I platinumed it.
You platinumed it?
Yeah. It's very attainable platinum.
Okay. So how long did that take you probably?
70 hours.
Okay. So it's hard to say how long I played it because I love the menu music. Like that version of the Crystal theme is remarkable. And so like I would start the game.
Yeah.
Put it in that. Like change the PlayStation settings so it wouldn't go to sleep and just leave that playing. And then just do housework or laundry or whatever and just I'd be like, yeah, it's
honestly
nice.
If they could have even though not a lot of it was original, but the fact that they compiled every Final Fantasy soundtrack into the game that you could play.
They sampled.
Still.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite
It
things.
may not be complete tracks on every single one, but you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a lot of music.
Yeah, it was really fun. There's a theme from Final Fantasy VIII that's like the Balam Garden fight theme, and so I really liked having that playing whenever I was going through a dangerous area or going to a battle, and like I connected to the characters. Like my favorite part of it was the interaction between them.
I think my favorite one to drive to was Sephiroth, the boss fight.
One Winged Angel.
And the and driving down the highway, and that was the best.
Yeah, I liked for just driving around for like side quests or whatever. In Final Fantasy VI, halfway through, the world theme music changes to "Searching for Friends."
Yeah,
and I've always loved that track, and it's like it's hopeful and interesting and inspiring in that way, and so I really enjoyed that, and I liked the throwbacks that they had, like the cactrots and how like people within the game's world were nostalgic about stuff like that. They're like, yeah, I love cactrots, and Prompto's possibly unhealthy obsession with chocobos was amusing.
Yeah.
There was also a lot of like supplementary stuff that went with it. How far did you go into that? Like the anime and movie and stuff like that?
I own the movie, and I still have not watched it because again I got the Final Fantasy 15 Steelbook because I love me some Steelbooks.
Yeah.
And so it's sitting there, and I meant to actually watch it beforehand, and then I just didn't. And then I just played the game, and then I finished the game, and then I was a little upset that like people are just like, just watch the movie, and I'm like, I don't want to have to watch a movie to understand a game. And so I know I will watch it at some point, but it's also just been kind of like a protest in a way of like, I'm not watching it, even though I already paid for it.
You paid for it, but okay. See, we actually I rented it. Cass came over, and we had various drinking games. We weren't drinking anything strong so that we could, because there was a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Because like every time someone ignored the previous line of dialogue and started a new sentence conversation, you got to drink.
Yeah.
And that happened a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah.
And whenever someone changed from one side to the other, take a drink. And every time you don't know what's happening on screen. That's fair. So, I mean, they were just regular strength drinks, and we still got pretty drunk by the end of it.
I was like, how's your hangover? Yeah.
We're Irish.
Yeah.
Plus, I know to drink a lot of water.
Sure.
But anyway, so I did the movie. Did you watch the anime?
I've watched one episode.
I really enjoyed that.
I heard it was great.
The anime is really, really excellent, and it did help me to understand the characters' motivations and like where they were coming from, and that was really useful for me.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that if I hadn't watched the anime and I hadn't been as connected to the four characters as I was, I don't know I would have finished it. Like, because their interaction and their camaraderie was one of my favorite parts of the game.
I mean, from somebody who just played just the game, like, I got that. Like, the problem with it is that those are the only four characters I care about. Like, I get their camaraderie, and I get, like, there's definitely some feel moments in there, like, I assume this is going to be spoilers, but...
We'll put spoiler stuff at the end.
Okay. Well, there's, the thing that, like, the thing that happens with Ignis, and so on, and, like, that moment,
Yeah.
in the game. Like, that's a lot of feels. The stuff with Prompto, even though they really didn't dig too much into it, and that was just kind of like, what?
Yeah. But yeah, I liked how after Ignis's event happens, like the dynamic shifts, and that was interesting. I liked that character development.
Yeah, and so I cared a lot about those 4 characters. I cared about no one else.
Yeah,
at all,
including characters that I know we were supposed to care about.
Yeah, like Luna Freya. Like, I thought she was cool.
Yeah,
but when that happened, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. The other thing is like I went probably 7 to 10 hours in, and then started to do side quests.
Yeah.
And once I started doing side quest, like I did that for probably 10 hours or so, half of which was driving.
Yeah, I went and got all the weapons before I like went across the water.
Yeah. But like one of the things that bugged me about that is I kept hearing the same conversations, and like, yes, he likes ebony. Is it as delicious as they say? I might have said this before, but yes. And I do wish I only saved like 2 or 3 of these, but the dialogue when Ignis figures out a new recipe, it's the same every time, and you have to listen to it like 30 times over the course of the game, and sometimes within a couple of minutes of each other.
What is it, Iggy?
Yeah. I'll taste test for you. And that stuff did kind of remove the connection that I had with the characters, because that brought out they're not real.
I just don't know. So, like, you say the anime is great. Apparently, like, the movie was fun. Like, it's not a great movie, but, like, apparently it was fun. But all the hours that you spent on that, why didn't you just put those and develop in the story a little bit more? Like, I don't know what you're doing here. Like, you can make a video game a movie. We've seen it. Mm-hmm. So I cared a lot. I enjoyed it. I loved the game. I thought it was great. It's nowhere near a perfect game or anything like that. I will probably never play it again. I'm interested in getting the DLCs once they're all out. Which, by the way, the
Gladio one is out as we're recording this.
Yeah, I think that came out this last week. I've heard it's okay.
Yeah.
I haven't played it yet. I don't know if you have.
No, I don't plan to.
Yeah.
Knowing that was coming out made it feel forced when a character disappeared, because I was like, all right, he's gone.
DLC.
All right, and he's about to go. Yeah. And like that. I don't know. That was a bit odd.
It'd be cool
and
to
then
do an Ignis one though, where you see how he fights.
Where that thing happens. Yeah. And that one I might actually get as a standalone, because that's the one that's interesting to me. But like when they brought Gladio back, like they try to hide it supposedly, but it was like, oh, that's who that is. Like, he doesn't change his voice, his fighting style, his moves. Like, it's just him in a
completely
suit.
Obvious.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, well, I don't understand.
And he hangs out for like a good 20 minutes.
And you can literally like go straight in there and like so from where he leaves, you could just go back and keep going on the main quest line, and you'll get him back almost immediately. And so you also didn't really feel that longing of like, I miss Gladio.
Yeah.
I did go do a weapon dungeon without him though, and it was a lot harder with just the 3 of you.
I think my favorite fight was the Marlboro fight. That was a lot of fun. But that was one of the situations where like they wanted me to do something. But like you would get the Marlboro down to like low health, and then it would be like, hey, I've got more, and he would just regen health until you like blew something up in his face or whatever. Yeah. But it like that one, and then
you had to use
in chapter
thing.
Yeah, and then in chapter 13 there's a demon, and the way that I play these games, almost every game, is I hoard stuff.
Sure.
And I'm like, no. These are my mega elixirs. You can't have them.
Sure.
And so by the time I got to that point, you're fighting alone with Noctis, and it's really hard. And it's like obvious that you're not supposed to be able to beat this thing. But I was like, I have a ridiculous number of items. I choose to do this. And so, like, if at any point you did something...
You're talking about the one you're supposed to run away from?
Yeah. If at any point you do something that the game doesn't want you to do, the game mechanics are very obvious in a, get away.
Yeah.
Stop it. So I fought that thing, and it gets down to 1 HP. And stays there. Forever. Because you're not supposed to kill it. Okay, then make it invincible.
Yeah.
In Final Fantasy VI, there's a giant sentinel thing that is guarding towns you're not supposed to go into.
Yeah.
You go in there, nobody can hit it, and it hits you for like 8,000 apiece and repeatedly attacks. Like, you can be full health, have all the spells, all the invincibility. You can be cheating, and you still can't beat that thing.
Yeah.
But if I can damage it, I should be able to kill it. And stuff like
Logic
that
dictates.
Yeah, stuff like that bothered me.
Yeah. I just ran away from it. Like, the end of the game was so easy for me. Like, I think by the time I got to the final, like, encounter, I was level 70.
Nice. I was, I think, early 40s. And
that's what annoyed a lot of people, is that, like, you didn't have, like, you could just literally just play straight story and beat it, and it won't punish you for being underleveled.
Yeah.
It does get harder, but...
Yeah, but... Yeah. And then there was also some other things. Going back to the dialogue. There would be times when they would talk about, well, you know, we're wearing official clothes and you need to respect those clothes. And no, I changed all their clothes because we're supposed to be incognito going through the world.
Yeah.
And there's no allusion made to, hey, maybe we shouldn't tell everybody we meet that we're the prince.
Sure.
Like, we're on the run for 90% of the game.
Yeah.
And that isn't reflected in dialogue. Like, I put him in that goofy, you know, baseball cap, and like, yeah. I put everybody in weird costumes because it felt strange to me that we were supposed to be in hiding and we're still wearing our official, like...
And why were there not more clothes? Like, as somebody who didn't like X2, by the way, like...
yeah.
Which is fine, but like, they have this whole thing where you can equip and unequip clothes, but you only get the one outfit, and then you get another outfit at the end.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Unless you got like some DLC stuff, like, which they released later. Like, they released that free DLC pack where you could put Noctis in the stupid shirt and stuff. But like, why isn't there stuff in game that affects stats? Like, where I could like build the Gladio I want to build, and I can build the Noctis I want to build. And so that part really confused me.
Yeah.
I was like, if you're just going to do that, just make it to where, like, I get those new clothes later, and those are my clothes now, and then I got my old clothes, and like, don't give me the option to unequip things.
Yeah. And so like, that was something that the clothing was, because like, I didn't need clothing options, but if you're gonna put clothing options in there, do something with it.
Yeah.
And that was a very strange thing for me. Magic having friendly fire and being ridiculously overpowered was...
I barely used it just because I hated getting hit by it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I never learned any of Ignis's other skills, because he has one, the regroup thing.
Yeah.
And so you could, like, bring everybody over here, and then you could throw your fire curse poison ball at the enemies and just blow them up. And you could do that, like, up until the end of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you could...
I still had regroup, just, like, the health is, like, the best thing he does.
Yeah.
His other stuff is fine, but...
I assume it is, but, like, I switched to one of those, and then I was like, wait a minute. Now I can't use magic. Screw that. I'm not doing that. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get into the spoilery parts and some of the issues that we had with the end game. So if you haven't played the game, intend to play it, then I guess go do that. But otherwise, we're going to go ahead and open it up and spoilers after this, and then Patrick can put a little thing right here that says spoilers, so you know. If you're only watching us,
or you can like try and put in the eyes, like do like SPO. If you can do that, it can be a lot.
Right. See, we don't do the tech side of it, so we just tell them to do whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So
dance monkey.
So chapter 13 was the one that
everyone hated,
patched
Yeah, everybody hated it. I didn't hate it.
I was annoyed actually at chapter 14 because they show you this like horrendous destroyed world, and I'm like, I can take on red giants now.
Yeah.
I want to go take my sword and my badasses and all of my.
Did you fight the wall?
The what?
The demon wall?
No. What's that?
He's level 80. In chapter 14, whenever you come out of town, and if you try and go through the tunnel, on the road, because I went around it after it's like, oh, demon wall, I'm good, and I just go around, but there's like a level 85 demon wall inside the tunnel.
No, I just got picked up by Tommy Boy or whatever his name was.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's meant for you to do that, because, like, you just go on the road, but, like, if you try and go through the tunnel that you go to whenever you're doing your auto driving,
yeah,
then there's a demon wall in there.
Okay. Okay, so, like, chapter 13, a lot of people complained about it. I didn't care. Like, that, like, by that time, I had kind of lost a lot of the story.
Yeah.
And, I was mostly just confused.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so, all right, so what's the bad guy's name?
Arden.
Okay. What is Arden's motivation? Because, like, he's helping you for the first half of the game.
Yeah.
And, like, helping you to be stronger so that he can kill you?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, it all seems like his whole point is, like, to prove that he deserved the power, that he should have been the king.
That he's better. Well, obviously.
And he should have been the one.
Right.
There can only be one.
Well, I mean, he is very clearly better than you at everything.
Yeah.
And then, like, okay, so my disconnect, and I'm done, I'm gonna beat this game.
Yeah.
Was actually at, like, chapter 10 or 11, where the closed-eyed assistant becomes Shiva? Or was Shiva?
I assume she was Shiva the whole time.
Okay, then what was she doing, and why was she not why didn't she save Luna? Why does she show up in my pictures? Yeah, like there's
a lot of things. I mean, but I think the part with Luna, I think, like, Luna had to die type thing. Like, I think that was just. But I also think that they did it, like, terribly. Like, you did that, like, okay, with Aerith and stuff. You start with Aerith, and Aerith hangs out with you for the entire beginning of the game. And, like, you learn her story from the get-go. The only things that you really get from Luna Freya, you get, like, the notes across the way. She sends she sends the little dog. You get a
time-traveling dog.
Yeah, exactly. Time-traveling dog just shows up, and he's like, here you go, buddy. You want to read this? Cool. And then that's it. Like,
also,
it's like this pen-pal moment.
Also, he swam across, like, an ocean.
Right. So you get those, like, little letters, and then by the time you actually meet her, you're like, damn, Luna Freya's a badass. And then she dies. Immediately. And I'm like, okay, well, that was stupid. Like, you just took away one of the best potential characters in the game. Why would you do that? Like, kill her at the end, fine, if that's what has to happen, because Noctis, has to die too, so, cool, they both die together, awesome.
I think I would have been more affected if Iris had died. Like, I think that would have hit me harder, because that's Gladio's sister.
Yeah.
And, like, I had a connection with her. There was interaction besides, note writing back and forth. And they're just... Anyway, so Shiva shows up, and then Arden immediately gets, oh, by the way, I'm immortal. Arden gets, oh, I'm immortal. And then after that, when they're on top of the train, and he gets time-traveling illusion... time freeze something powers.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Okay, and first of all, was that the only way you could figure out to make this happen? And secondly, if you've had these powers, why haven't you been using them?
Yeah.
And and then the final fights. I did like wandering through the streets with, like, the giant demons everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed that more than the final battle.
Well, the thing I like, I may have lost it. Where we're talking about like why weren't you using the powers and stuff? Like what was it that made Noctis the one? Like they just said like he was like.
Yeah.
Was there something that happened? Like is there something in the movie or something that's just like. What?
Okay, so he is chosen by the ancestors, and that's why he can put on the ring and not die.
Okay.
Because okay, so did you notice that that Luna's brother had like a demon arm?
Yeah.
Okay, so he didn't start the game with that, but his arm is actually gone because in the movie he tries to put on the ring and he is not worthy, so it like devours his arm.
Okay.
But doesn't kill him. Don't know why. And so that's why it's supposed to be like when like because excuse me, because Noctis has been carrying the ring for like the entire game.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, I'm gonna put it on now, and he's basically allowing himself to be judged by the ancestors, and that's supposed to be a big moment.
Sure.
But if you don't know the significance of the ring from watching this other stuff, then it's just like, all right, so you put on a ring, you got magic now.
Cool. Let's go dodge people for like an hour.
Dodge people magically though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did like I never did figure out why the draining thing made everybody like super skinny. I liked doing that with the giant huge guys and turning them into Slender Man.
That's where like I didn't have a problem with like that. Like it was tedious, but like at the same time I was just like
yeah.
And then eventually it just came down like cuz I was so overpowered like I just dodge everything and like they would die in like 2 hits.
Yeah. The weapons or the battle scaling was not great because like sometimes you just run into somebody that was super hard. I had a harder time with Ravis than with Arden.
Yeah, Arden was easy.
Yeah, it was just a weird fight.
I had a hard time with Ifrit. Like, and even that wasn't even a hard fight. It was just that it was harder.
Yeah. Well, I had a couple of like quintuple cast 300 strength poison ice spells ready to go.
Yeah.
So I just walked in and blew him up with ice and killed him in like a couple of minutes.
Okay. I barely made magic like at all.
Yeah. Well, see, I
used it at the end game, like and that's whenever we get to it. That's another beef that I have with the game. But
yeah. Well, I mean, we're coming up on that, but like there were some things that like it didn't seem like it had been coordinated well.
Yeah.
And that was kind of rough. And then it comes to the ending, which, like I said, I didn't understand what had happened. So, everybody dies?
No.
Who doesn't die?
The other people don't die. It's just Noctis and Luna.
Okay, then what's the camp thing?
I think they're showing right before they went in because you saw that they camped for a final time, right? Like right before you went into town.
Right,
they went
right.
And camped, and I think that's what happened. Like,
okay.
I think they were doing flashback moment of like. They're like, so you beat the game and everything, but they're showing you like what conversation happened during that final camp night.
Okay, so the after credit scene is a flashback to 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
In a scene that was set up, not shown.
For no reason whatsoever. Like, why wouldn't you just show that? But I get why it has more impact after he's dead, but because you didn't like. It wasn't really like extremely clear. Like maybe you thought like maybe he wasn't going to die.
Yeah,
but I think it looks like everybody knew he had to die.
See, I thought that it was like they were letting him go because he had been, pardon my French, a little bitch boy for the entire game. And they were like, no, dude, this is your throne. You have to go do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, all right, so apparently both of us had beef with the ending. All right, so I thought that the ancestor people, because like he gets stabbed continuously every time you pick up a new weapon.
Sure.
I thought that was what was happening, and he was being infused with the power of all the ancestors from all time, and they also gave him back Luna.
No. That's not what I got out of it.
Okay. Well,
anyway.
I read kind of an assessment of what happened. But yeah, so
I got out
who's
of it
in charge of the country now?
Yeah, I'm like Ignis. Like I don't know. Like
Well, I mean, like, nothing against the sight impaired, but he doesn't, like, he has... I mean, he's a great Alfred.
He's a chef. He's an accountant.
Yeah. He's the responsible one.
And I'm married to an accountant. She's the boss. So, like, I get it where it's but I don't know. Like, that was one of the parts I was left with, but, like, I was like, it's very clear, like, Luna's dead, Noctis had to die. And they're in, like, Final Fantasy Heaven together, hanging out with Aeris and so on. But, like, what is going down now? Like, okay, we renewed the country.
Yeah,
cool.
so...
But I thought that's why I hated the ending, where I was just like, why did he have to die? Like, this game is so depressing. The entire game. The entire game is depressing. Like, they're talking constantly about how, like, the darkness and all, like, nobody goes out at night at all outside their cities. Like, the demons are always around, everything like that. And then into the game turns out you also have to die to save the world. You don't get to actually ever be a king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So between... Okay, so we both had huge issues with the game.
Yeah.
But there were things that we also really liked about the game.
Yeah.
So overall, would you recommend this game to people?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, as far as, like, it's fun to play. Like, a lot of people are of the mind that gameplay is king, and, like, I'm not there. Like, I like story better.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like, combat, in terms of just driving around, killing stuff, doing things, like, it's a lot of fun. They could have made it a whole lot smaller. And had the same amount of depth, because it is definitely, like, what's the phrase where it's a mile long and an inch deep type thing. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff to do, but it's all very far away, far away.
There's a lot of because, like, as far as the also, I got so mad when so there's the you can buy the skill where when you're driving you get AP.
Yeah.
And especially early on, AP is kind of hard to come by.
Yeah.
But then you get, like, if you land the killing blow with a death thing, if you get A+ in offense, like, there's these other things that kind of stack up, and then, like, toward the end of the game, you're just getting AP thrown at you.
Yeah, and levels don't matter, AP matters.
Yeah, that one was great. But then there was another one that cost, I think it was 99 AP. And it said, while you were driving around, you get experience.
Yeah.
Did you get that one?
No, I didn't. I didn't waste it on it.
Okay. Do you know how much experience it gives you at
nothing?
100 experience.
Like every 5 minutes or something, right?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Which you get like 1,000 for a standard battle by that point in the game.
Yeah.
I was mad. See, I wouldn't recommend it because I had the story itself. I recommend the drinking game for the movie. Because that is a bad movie that is fun to watch, and it's really pretty and weird. Also, there's somebody that dies in the middle that I didn't figure out was dead until 3/4 of the way through. Like, there's a lot of things that are meant to be implied to you, or maybe you're supposed to get it from other sources.
Yeah. And
I just did not get. But, like, there was, I don't know. I mean, we're still in spoiler territory.
Yeah.
So whenever you start time traveling back, is Ignis blind?
Because you call Umbra?
Yeah.
No. Because you go back in time.
Okay. But after you start
still wearing the clothes. Whatever.
Right, but after you start doing that, there is a conversation between Gladio and Ignis that talks about him adjusting to being blind. Then there's another one that talks about him needing to clean his glasses to see better.
Yeah.
You can't have both. But anyway, yeah, there were a lot of issues with like the gameplay itself that I had a problem with, and I think that the story had enough
story.
Yeah. I wanted to, though.
Yeah. Oh, no, obviously. Like, then, I mean, I still liked it better than, like, 13, where it gave you the open world that you wanted in 13. It looks great. The combat is fun. But like I said, I'll probably never play it again now that I beat it. One thing that we didn't really talk about is the end game is pathetic. Did you do any of the end game dungeons?
I have not.
Okay.
I've heard about like some amazing dungeons.
There is one dungeon. It's ridiculous. Like, so you play it as just Noctis.
Okay.
And it's a platformer. Now you'll recognize
like a proper platformer.
Like, in terms of it uses everything that the game has done mechanically.
Okay.
To have you progress through this thing in terms of like jumping and everything, and he can't really jump like a lot. He jumps.
Yeah.
But like they use the game's engine and the physics of the game to push you around this dungeon and it could take you hours to do it because like there's certain things where you just fall off and you start and it's just Noctis.
Right.
That's the only cool in-game dungeons. The regular in-game dungeons that you see, like you remember the vault doors.
Yeah, it's like well I guess I can't go in there.
Okay, so you get a key for once you beat all the dungeons and beat the game.
Yes, I did notice that was a thing.
You talk to the old lady, and she gives you a key to fight them, and she gives you quests. You go in there, and it's literally like a room in the darkness under the thing. Kill everything in the room before you move on. Next room, next room, next room, next room, next room. You don't get to heal. The only time you can heal is at campsites under there. Like there's campsites.
Like you can't use items?
Yeah, no. So
that doesn't sound fun at all.
So the first couple, you're like, okay, fine. They'll build upon this, right? They'll make it better as they go along. No, they literally just make it longer. Like, and then there's one I think that's like has like over 100 rooms, and that was where I quit the game. I'd gotten the platinum at that point. I was trying to do things like I wanted to keep playing the game because I was having fun with the combat, but literally like. Your dungeons, like I wanted like a dungeon. I want like something like like the things where you get the weapon, where there's just rooms and like you gotta press this switch.
I liked those dungeons.
Yeah,
I liked there was like an icy one toward the end of the game that I really enjoyed. Except that there was like one of the demons had a wind attack that would push me off the edge.
Yeah,
and then I had to like go all the way through the dungeon again, climb back up, walk hand by hand on the little ledge, and then get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Nope.
But yeah, that was what made me quit. I was just like, you guys really like, you had all the opportunity in the world, and you had 3 or 4 years to do it because everybody says they had 10 years. They really didn't. They scrapped this game 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You spent all this time on an anime. You spent all this time on a movie. Like, why didn't you just like? I know you basically had to come out with the game, but like, why didn't you just put all those man hours into developing things that go inside this gorgeous world?
Well, and I mean, like one of the things that they patched fairly early was they put scenes from the movie into the game.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, do that, but explain it. Don't worry. Don't bother with the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Or just give us like just better dialogue. Like there's plenty of you drive around all the time.
Yeah.
Like just talk about things like where like maybe like I could just talk to Ignis and be like, tell me the history of the world.
Yeah. I would have really enjoyed that. Just opportunities to get to know the characters better and have like yes, I know this is a giant game and like some repeated dialogue I could live with, but it was constant. After a certain point, you feel like you've heard everything there is to hear from these characters.
I will say I love Prompto though. Like as much as that little dude died, every time did you ever use his skills? Because he blows stuff up, and like every time he goes ba 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 ba, like
that was great. I also did really enjoy them talking about a game that they were playing in the game that I'm playing.
Yeah.
And when they would talk about like when he does the da 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 da. He's like, what, is this a game to you? Like, those moments...
Just getting experience points.
Those moments were pretty entertaining.
Like, even though they repeated, but it leaves a lot to be desired. And I hope, though, that now that they have an engine, that 16, which you better keep making them because I'm going to keep buying them, that 16 uses, like, that world, because... The thing that had me excited about them finally finishing like this engine and everything, and what I hope they stick with is like if you remember, like 789 came out within like a year or two. each other.
Pretty close together.
And those are 3 amazing games.
Yeah.
So give me 16 with that engine, but do your Final Fantasy thing with it.
Yeah. And then my last piece of advice for Square is put jump on a different button than the button that does everything else. Because I was so tired of walking up to a character, jumping.
Talk to me.
I love the mental image of like that actually happening in real life. Like Prince Noctis runs up to somebody and just starts jumping up and down. Anyway, this
also just give us the ability to control the other characters. Like, even if it's not all the time, like, I would love to just have moments. Like, and that was more just story depth thing. Like, why could, instead of doing these DLC things, like, just give me like 5-minute things where I'm controlling Prompto, learning the fact that I'm somehow Magitech, which, what does that even freaking mean?
Whatever. I don't know.
Anyways,
anyway, that is our review, discussion, suggestion as far as Final Fantasy 15 goes. It's been a long time coming. We're going to try to get these out faster. But yeah, thanks for coming on and talking about that with me.
Thanks.
Because Patrick quit. And I wanted to talk about
I'll be here for the Zelda discussion, too.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Thanks.